Hey everyone, welcome to All About the Joy. This is Culture and Consequence with Carmen and Andrea. Oh, I like the hoops. Wait, why are we dressed up with all the cute makeup? What's happening? I just noticed because I can see you clearly. You look beautiful today.
Thank you. I'm trying to make my screen bigger, but it's not
Because you want to
cooperating.
see me more
I do. I do. Yeah, this is just for you.
Is it just for, it's for Culture and Consequence, the audience, huh?
I definitely don't have any work calls later.
Right. This is normally how you show up, and then I ask you to dishevel yourself.
I woke up
right?
like this.
Right. Exactly. So we have a lot on the agenda. I'm sorry about last week. We kind of gave everyone a break. But you had wanted to talk a little bit about the Pope. Did you see his latest Twitter?
The Pope or
The Pope just laid out the latest Twitter this morning. Let me read you what he
I
just
have
said.
not. No.
Yes, Pope Leo has, of course, social media and Twitter. And because he's unlike Pope Francis in that he's willing to engage and argue with people, he wrote this morning, "Woe to those who manipulate religion and the very name of God for their own military, economic, and political gain, dragging that which is sacred into darkness and filth."
Ooh, the F word.
You know, right? I was like, okay, yeah.
He's a troll. I love it.
I know, right? He's a troll.
True
Anyways,
American.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe you want to give people who maybe don't. I didn't know what was going on until you told me because
Yeah, okay. So
attention.
we're like I'll try to do a little summary, right? So, the Pope Leo, Pope Bob from Chicago.
Is that what they call him? Because his name is really Robert, right? Or
Yeah.
something? Yeah. Okay.
That's what the cool kids call him. He is American, right? And as popes do, at least in our lifetime, speaks out on behalf of the poor and the oppressed and refugees and immigrants and, all of these kinds of things. And I guess there are certain people, elements, who took particular exception to that, even though he, as yet, as far as I know, has never actually named any person or a country or whatever, as saying, like, I'm specifically talking about you. But, if the shoe fits, I guess.
I think it's pretty clear who he's talking about. But
at this point, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And so back in February, after the Pope gave his State of the World speech, his representatives, the ambassadors to the Vatican or to the United States from the Vatican, were called to the Pentagon.
Wait. Is that a normal thing?
No.
Oh, okay. No. I was like, did I miss something? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
No, nobody is called to the Pentagon. It's particularly ambassadors, right? It would be like a State Department type of thing, but also just the whole thing is weird in and of it. It would be strange if they were called to the State Department.
Okay.
But called to the Pentagon and lectured essentially by like a deputy secretary of defense. And we're straight up told, like, you need to check yourself and get on our side. Like, they were told that very directly. And then there were, I will call it, implicit threats allegedly made, on the Pope's safety, let's call it.
I'm sorry. I just need to back up for a moment. I did not know there was all of this involved in it. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
Hegseth's, like, deputy assistant, somebody talk to representatives of the Pope.
Yeah, like a bishop. Wait.
Okay, like a bishop, and said, you need to get on board of what? Helping the needy? I'm confused what we're getting on board on.
You need to, it was something like, I don't remember the exact quote, but, the United States will do whatever it's going to do, and you need to get on our side. So, like, he's supposed to be like, yeah, bombs away.
Or like hate the immigrants or something.
I think this was pre-Iran, and so it was, I think, primarily focused on like, stop calling us out on the immigrant issue,
on the ICE issue.
And then, of course, we started bombing Iran, and the Pope started to get much more vocal. But this meeting happened before all of that. And it was literally like, we're going to do what we're going to do, and you need to get on our side. And then there was a mention of, not to get too into the weeds, but the Avignon papacy, where the French king like went and arrested the Pope, and which is like a kind of mafia style threat against the Pope.
Right.
So yeah, that all happened before Iran. And then, once that started, of course, the Pope started to speak out more, explicitly and directly, and they've continued to take exception to that, to the point where, as we saw last week, Trump's post about how the Pope is soft on crime and nuclear weapons.
But okay, you know what? I feel really stupid right now, so I'm just gonna be me. I'm just gonna ask these questions. I feel really stupid. Do they not understand who the Pope in general is supposed to be helping and representing? I'm confused why we need the Pope. Let's pretend I'm on Trump's side, which we all motherfucking know I'm not. Let's just pretend for a moment that I'm on Trump's side. Why would I care if the Pope is rah, let's get more immigrants in jail? And why wouldn't I want to keep that separated? I don't want the Pope talking about war.
Well, I'm going to pretend that I can try to understand what's happening in this person's, minuscule little brain, but I would imagine he doesn't like it when anybody speaks out against him. But also, let's just look at the Pope for a moment and what he represents. 20%, I looked up the numbers this morning, 20% of Americans are Catholic, right? That's a pretty large number. I know. 1.5 billion people around the world are Catholic, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of people. That's a lot of, it's a big platform, let's call it, right? And, if we're going to speak in hierarchical terms, theoretically, spirituality comes above politics. So, the Pope is above the president. And then also, if we want to try to get into this person's, Trump's brain for a moment, look at the Pope, right? He's got the pomp and the circumstance and all of
the real gold.
And real gold. He's got the Michelangelo and the Sistine Chapel and the robes and the hat. And poor little unloved Trump wants all of that. Please make me the special boy. Right. So there's a part of him, I'm sure, that is envious of all of that. So when the Pope, even indirectly, comes and says these things about him, he takes it he takes everything personally. Right. So he's going to lash out.
One thing that I didn't know all of this, there's just so much that's being thrown at us. But one of the things that I was able to see was that the original conflict traces back to 2016 when Pope Francis criticized Trump's wall. And it's almost like, right, his whole Mexico's going to pay for it bullshittery crapola thing. Yeah. And that has stuck in Trump's craw, or whatever that saying is. And then I guess Trump turned around at one point and said Pope Leo wouldn't be the Pope if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I haven't even been following this, and I know that ain't true at all. So there is that thing where he just wants to, it's like there's not enough for Trump. Like it has to be everything.
He has to insert himself everywhere, because you're right. He is an unfillable void. Doesn't matter what he gets, he wants more.
It's such a sad kind of thing to think a man has grown up this way and is like on so many levels, I was trying to figure out, like if Trump wasn't born wealthy and if he didn't get a pass on everything, because let's just be honest, he's gotten away with everything his entire life. And there are very few people who have done as much damage as he has. And I'm not talking about even the presidency, even beforehand. He was able to use his power and his name to hurt other people and manipulate people. And, even simple things like not paying people, and I was trying to figure out if a man was not as wealthy as Trump, what kind of person would he be in regular life? Like that characteristic of, so I'm just going to tell you what I came up with psychologically speaking, right? He's, he grew up with lawyers, accountants, and fixers handling fallout, right? He has aggressive counter attack strategy. So he threatens and sues, delays, and overwhelms opponents until they give up. You can only do that if you have power. You have money behind you to do that. Yeah. Right. Because it's not real power. It's money power. Right. Institutional fear of backlash. So media, banks, political parties, and even prosecutors have historically hesitated because he retaliates publicly and relentlessly. And it's a lifetime of normalization. When someone pushes norms for 50 plus years, people around them become desensitized. So if Trump were a man without wealth, let's pretend his name is Elias Rourke. AI came up with that. A man born with the psychology of power, but none of the resources, spending his life manipulating, scheming, and self-destructing, he would be leaving a trail of personal wreckage instead of just political chaos. And I think that's kind of interesting because there's not a lot of people in regular life who would not have hit a wall by now and been put in prison or fall out of their family or their friends. And what keeps happening is people keep enabling this man his entire life. I just think it's an incredible thing.
He's a case study in many ways of what happens when you never have any consequences.
None. Right. Yeah. He has no
and the damage that you can, the sort of havoc that you can wreak all around you.
But here's the thing. So I think a lot of Trump support, the psychologist, it just has to. But a part of me is like, people who keep supporting Trump, right? And there's still people, which is mind-boggling to me. Is that really what you want? This man is so sad. He's like, I envy people, right? Because we're all human. I envy people who actually, like, I'll say this, straight up. Barack Obama walks in the room. That's a kind, and he has that swag. And I don't even think it's intentional. That to me is envious. And I know people who hate Barack Obama are going to be like, whatever. It doesn't matter. You can pick whoever you want. Robert Downey Jr. walks into a room and he's had a lifetime of, do you know who Robert Downey Jr. is, Andrea? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know. But like he rebuilt his life after having this horrible, situation with drug addiction or whatever it was. And then he became this huge Marvel figure. And the reason why Marvel became what it became, he walks into a room, there are so many different people we can talk about. I remember Maya Angelou. It doesn't matter. You can name people who are quality human being. Lin-Manuel Miranda is one of my favorite, that's the kind of people I envy. And you can put on top of it if you want their money, but it's not their money. It's the respect that they have. Why would you envy this pretend shit that Trump has always had?
Beats me, girl. I don't know.
Right. But you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, I understand. I totally understand what you're trying to say. And I often sort of, have kind of a snarky quip or whatever, paint people with a broad brush, but I really don't understand it. Just yesterday, I was driving down the street over here and I saw someone in one of those big ass trucks with a big ass Trump flag. And I'm like, still? Really? Right now? Yeah. Really? And I looked over at him. I was actually thinking about flipping him off, but I thought, like, I don't even understand what's happening over there. Like, it just looked like a normal guy. And, it was just weird. I was like, what's going on in your head? Like, I just, it's totally foreign to me.
Well, and at this point, if you're intentionally, like, because for a while there were people intentionally, and you know where I live, this is like Blue City, whatever, right? You're intentionally wearing a Trump hat. You're wanting to fight with people. And the irony is people here are like, you're a loser. We're not even wasting our energy. It's like, so if you're still doing that now, you're trying to instigate an argument or fight.
100%, right? 100%. You're trying to trigger people and like get in, like you want something to happen. But
yeah, still, and now we just really think you're pathetic. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're absolutely a loser. But like, yeah, I mean, I really did have that thought kind of similar to what you're asking now, was like, what is going on in that person's head? Other than like, oh, I want to, start some shit. But like, why, what is it that you actually support?
Right, because sometimes you could understand, even if you didn't agree with it in the past, other Republicans or people that you don't agree with, you could at least understand the logic behind why you thought you should support them, right? Even if I was completely against why you were supporting them. But this is like, the man by the way, I just want to say, he's always been exactly what some of you are just starting to see. There has nothing has changed. He is not more deranged. He is not more out of it. This is who he has always been. And I think that's important because people are trying to be like, oh, he's old now. No.
Yeah, the dementia is kicking in. Like, no, he's always been this kind of an asshole.
Always. And he's always been cruel. He's always been about himself, and you can go back to the Central Park Five. And I'm going to bring that up because that's when I first realized who this man was. Yep. And I lived on the East Coast. I was in Boston. That happened in New York. But that takes, it had nothing to do with him. And yet he put it upon himself to put an ad in the paper. It had not, like, that's a deranged individual. That is a horrible human being. And that is somebody who is so outright racist. Everything about him was bad back then. Nothing has changed. And I don't care that you're just seeing it now. Just go with the idea that you were wrong and you're realizing it. So maybe you don't know as much as you think you know about Donald Trump. Stop trying to correct the rest of us who have been here from day one. We actually know more about Donald Trump than how you've been so hoodwinked because you were in a, I don't know, cult or whatever. I don't know what excuse you need to give yourself because I know what Andrea's thinking. You racist, homophobic. You need to do some inside work on who you are as a person. I keep saying this over and over and over again. You may not like the word racism. You might not like the word transgender or homophobic or all of these word isms. You may not like them, but you don't like them because you haven't done the work to figure out why you are being labeled that way. There might be an ounce of truth to it if you would just take a moment and stop resisting. Seriously, I'm so over it. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about another motherfucker. I'm so sad. Andrea. We can talk about how great Democrats are, though, because, we're like, okay, done out. But what the hell is with men in this country? We're talking about Swalwell.
Every angle of this story pisses me off so much. Like, I am enraged about this. And yes, Democrats handled it really quickly, but also,
what the fuck?
Why, if everybody knew it was an open secret, why didn't anybody tap him on the shoulder and say, girl, sit this one out?
This is like the Bill Cosby thing, and that's why it also pisses me off. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so for people who don't know, Congressman Swalwell, I don't even remember his first name anymore. What's
Eric?
His
Eric.
See, I'm already dismissing him already.
There you go. Yeah.
Right. Has been accused, and baby, there are videos now. There are videos that are not AI. So Anyways, you know what? I'm gonna back up. He's been accused of raping and sexual assaulting and all of this stuff. And you know what? I don't even care if it's true or not. I believe it's true. I do. But let me tell you why I don't care whether it's true or not. Let me tell you something. And this is a long-winded way to say this, but I'm going to try to explain to fucking men what you need to do if you are going to be a human being on the fucking planet with women. This is just one way to handle it. Okay. So this is going to be way off the cuff here, Andrea, but I'm fucking pissed about this. I'm so pissed because I don't know what's wrong with you motherfucking men. I don't know who is raising you or what is influencing you, but you men have got to change. You have got to change
together.
What is wrong with your dumb asses? But let me just say something. I'm going to give 2 examples because when you are vulnerable as a woman, this matters. Okay. So I've had 2 doctors that I'm going to talk about. One of them was Dr. Unger, who was my internist, like your regular doctor that you go in. And he also was my GYN doctor, right? He also did and I'm going to use the words, okay, like pap smear, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He did the GYN exam, okay, which women have to get every year or whatever. And there was never a time that Dr. Unger was in that room with me without a nurse practitioner or another person in the room, another woman in the room, because he understood that not only was I in a vulnerable position, but he was also protecting himself, right? He was also making sure that he was not going to be accused of anything. And then the other one is our delicious, yummy, beautiful Dr. Gerhard, right? And I'm saying their names on purpose. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying it on purpose because I want you to know that these are actual examples. You're in a vulnerable position. This was the surgeon who did my hip surgery. But before doing my hip surgery, I had to go meet with him like 6 or 7 times because I got cortisone shots. I did physical therapy, and then I would go meet with him and he would check things and whatever. Okay. And it's a hip surgery. So you're going to be naked from the bottom down. So every time he's checking you, he is near your parts. You know what I'm saying? So, never was that man in a room alone with me. He always had a nurse practitioner or some other person in the room for my comfort and for his protection. And it's like, I don't understand, Andrea, how these fucking men are thinking it is okay. So I believe he did it. I do. I really do. I don't fucking care. But let's just say you're accused of it. You wouldn't be accused if somebody else is in the room with you. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. I mean, all kinds of things wrong here. Right. But yes, I mean, and I believe all of it too. And then some. There's probably stuff we don't even know about. Right.
Oh, of course.
Allegedly. Right. But, and yes, all of the really horrific stuff to the side. It's important. It's awful. I support the victims, all of that. Like you're saying, the stuff with his staff, he was flirty. Oh, he was Snapchatting. What the fuck? Going out for drinks with staff members. No. That alone is disqualifying. Not even just disqualifying. It's fucking wrong. Stop doing this shit. Go get your boys and fucking handle it and stop doing and stay the fuck away from us, by the way, until you get your shit together. All of you. It's so enraging.
It is so enraging. And I'm also heartbroken for us because I think for me, I believed in him so much. I was ready to vote for him. I'm like, I'm going to vote for him for governor because he was running for governor for California. I was excited. I think there are way too many people running, but that's a whole other conversation. And we'll do that next week or something. That's another frustration. I cannot see California having a Republican governor. So I'm just saying, you 23% who are undecided, fucking figure it out. And the bottom 4 of you, get the fuck out the race. Okay, that was
if you're polling under 10%, I don't want to hear from you. Shut the fuck up and go away.
Get the fuck out, yeah. And also, what's his name? Tom Sawyer? Yeah, I'm over him too. He needs to get out. But
I'm over all of them. But anyways, yes, that's another conversation.
Polling higher. Okay, anyways. But I will say this because it needs to be said. and it needs to be said over and over and over again. Democrats do not fucking play. Democrats heard somebody, we did this to the guy from Saturday Night Live, and that actually pisses me off.
Al
I forget his name. Who?
Al Franken.
Al Franken, because he had a picture that he had hands on boobs of a woman, and we took him out of office immediately. And I think that was actually a bad call on our part. But it was the right call because we have integrity and character. And I don't give a shit what you people think about the Democratic Party. They acted quickly, swiftly, and it's done. He's resigned from Congress. He cannot run for governor. He's done. And that's how it should be.
Within a week.
Within
this
a week.
happened last week, right? Like,
yeah.
So,
yeah,
it happened over the weekend.
Yeah. We're not going to make him president. You know what I mean? We're not going to allow him to keep doing things over and over again that are illegal. You know,
Right.
We're not going to allow him to put his name on buildings that he has no business putting his name on, or destroying buildings or starting wars. We're not going to allow a sexual predator to represent who we are as citizens in this country. And yet you guys keep supporting Donald Trump. Whatever. That line, I mean, I think way before the line of grab him by the pee, he should have been knocked out. There's so many things, like in that first moment when he spoke about Mexicanos being murderers and rapists, and I think some of them are okay, or whatever the hell that line was, that was right there. I was done. I mean, I was done before that because I thought this man was a fool, but whatever.
Yeah.
But if you couldn't get past that and you were still supporting him, the grab him by the pee and that you, like, this is what I don't understand. You called it locker room talk. Stormy Daniels.
These are the people that we're dealing with, right? Like, that's like when we say boys come get your boys, these are the fucking people that we're talking about. It's not just locker room talk. It's not just locker room talk. It has real horrific consequences for people.
I was trying to understand why men, and by the way, I was like, is there a race differentiation in this? And there isn't. It's men. It's men. It's of all, the reason why we hear more about white men is because white men have more power than anyone else. So they're more highly visible. And that's why I on purpose brought up Bill Cosby. And the thing with Bill Cosby that pisses me off is it's kind of the same thing you were saying. How was a black man in the 70s and 80s getting away with hurting people? It's because studio executives who have not been called to, have to pay for this as well, because they should be, were making so much money off of Bill Cosby. They were not talking about it. Again, men, what is wrong with you? All right. So here's why men have issues. Okay. I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry. All right.
Oh, God.
I know. We're going to lose like half of our audience. I don't give a fuck.
Get it together then.
Get it together. Men commit the overwhelmingly majority of sexual assaults. Typically 90% plus are identified offenders. We're not saying all men. We're saying the men that are identified are men. They're not women. Okay. 90%. Okay. Why does this happen? Entitlement conditioning. Many men are socialized from childhood to believe they are entitled to women's time, women's attention, women's bodies, women's compliance. The entitlement is one of the strongest predictors of sexual aggression. I did not know that. So men walk around thinking they can have access to women at a moment's notice. Is that what it is?
I mean, a version of that. Yeah. I think a lot of men feel like, it's the, like, I took you to dinner.
Okay. I understand now. Right. I took you to dinner.
Bad.
Now what? I'll be like, and thank you very much. That's why I paid my half, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Okay. I'm not
even
saying
if you didn't, right? Like, okay, I'm entitled to what, right? Like that's the line of thinking.
I got it. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Power dynamics. Sexual assault is overwhelmingly about power, not desire. Men who offend often show patterns like believing rules don't apply to them. Yep. Assuming they won't face consequences. Check. Using status or authority to override boundaries. Unbelievable. This is why men in positions of influence show up in headlines. Whatever. Okay, we only have three more. Well, I think it's important because you know what? I don't understand. I don't understand why men do this shit. I don't get it. Like, what is wrong with you? Anyways, poor boundary recognition. I thought this was interesting. I did not realize this. A lot of men are raised with weak emotional education, poor empathy development, normalized aggression, normalized pursuit. I don't know what that means, normalized pursuit, and normalized dominance. The combination leads to boundary violating behavior.
I think normalized pursuit is the like not taking no for an answer. Like, oh, you know, I need to continue to pursue. She likes it when I come after her, you know.
Right.
Kind of
she said no, but she really means yes.
Yes, exactly.
That bullshit. See?
Pepe Le Pew argument.
This is helping me because now I'm understanding some of this that I researched because, you know, okay. Number 4, impulse control and externalization. Men are often more socialized to act first, think later. That is so fucking true in every way. Externalize blame, and women internalize blame, which is so interesting. I get that. They minimize harm, right? So they pretend it wasn't that big of a deal, you know, whatever. See rejection as a challenge. That's what you're talking about, right? I said no, but she really means yes. This creates a risk profile that skews male. Yeah, whatever. Okay. And the last one, cultural reinforcement. This is the big one, people. And that's why I'm calling it out. This is why I'm calling it out, because we don't talk about this part enough, about that it is mostly men and it matters. We need to change this dynamic. Many cultures still reinforce boys will be boys. Conquest mentality, male sexual dominance, and silence around consent. That environment produces offenders. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. You're a mother. I'm not. I know you don't have boys, but I just don't understand how we're raising. I'm not blaming it on parents, but something's off. Something's off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have an answer for it. I mean, you know, obviously if I did, I'd, you know, be in a different place, but, like
we'd have a lot of money because somehow I'd latch on.
Yeah, we would monetize that somehow, right? I mean, I know some boys, some teenage boys, you know, based on my kids' age, and they're all really good kids with really good parents. So like, I see what's around in my life, and I'm like, I'm not seeing the disconnect. Like, I don't understand where some of these other kids are coming from. I guess if you sort of look around at some of these, you know, Trump supporters or whatever, it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense that you would end up with a kid like that. Right.
But Eric Swalwell wasn't that, right? I mean, Bill Cosby wasn't that, right? We would assume. So I'm not saying I know where it comes from. I'm just saying we need to get real about this shit. Enough already. And then I'm going to flip this, and this is where I'm really going to get in trouble. I know it's hard for victims to speak on this shit, and I know it's hard for people around this stuff to talk, but I think we need to start teaching our girls and young women and other people, talk about it, say something, scream, yell. I have quit jobs for less. Like, I quit jobs because the person who was the client, you remember this, like, talked badly to a housekeeper. And I had no money. I was going to live in my car, but I'm not saying I am right about, but we need to change the culture of not speaking. Like, women need to I know it's painful. I know I have dealt with this myself. I know that there is a process that happens. You're in denial. You think it's your fault. We need to change that. We need to start changing it. It is not your fault. It is never your fault. It is not your fault. You need to speak on it. I think we need to change how we approach this, because what ends up happening is men keep thinking it's okay to fucking do.
Well, they think they can get away with it. He clearly did, right? He absolutely believed he could get away with it.
How long has this motherfucker been in office?
Right. He did get away with it for all this time, right? And, you know, and the people around him, that's what I was saying, that like pisses me off. Well, everybody knew.
Yeah, I get so angry
Then
about
fucking
that.
say something. Say something to him.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, somebody actually go confront this man and say that's not right.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I think we need to start having a real conversation, especially with our young girls, young women. We need to let them know, if you come and talk to me about something, I'm going to scream it from the rooftops, right? I understand everybody's afraid of losing their job. Everybody's afraid of the retaliation. Everybody, you know what? Stop. We're creating a world we don't want to live in. And you know what? I am so angry about the Eric Swalwell thing on so many levels. It's not just because I feel betrayed. I'm like, how the fuck did someone like that end up not just being in office for as long, but all of us thought he was clean and good and a good, decent man. And it's because nobody told the public. Nobody told us. And if the victims can't speak for themselves, then you be a person of courage and speak the fuck for them. I don't get it. And you know what? I'm coming from a place where I was sexually assaulted as a kid. And the problem is most women have been. And that's what's so fucking annoying. Yep. And when I said my piece, when I finally was able to say it, people were like, oh, you were just kids. It was a long time ago. It's not a big deal. You know what I've done since then? Those people are completely out of my life because I understood immediately that I was not going to be believed. I knew it.
Yeah.
But the people that did believe me, my friends, the people that cared, they were also like, fuck them, we're done. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what I'm trying to say is like, I'm angry because people should not be elevated anywhere in my life or in public life and making money and taking from people who, can you imagine? Okay. And again, I am not trying to blame the victims. I'm trying to make a point. When you don't speak, when you don't find the courage to do something because you are in pain and struggling and sad, when you allow him to hurt other people. And that's what I'm angry about. When I finally spoke, I didn't give a fuck. They didn't believe me. But you know what I know for sure? They didn't let their children around that man. No, they did not. Not alone. I know that stuck in their motherfucking head. I don't give a fuck. And I'm angry. My whole ghetto's coming out because it's when I was a kid. And I'm just angry. We need to be better about this. Have courage for people who are going through something. Protect them. Speak on it. I don't understand how Eric Swalwell became, even in my head, a good guy. I did not know a fucking thing about him. Did you know all this time?
I didn't know. I mean, I wasn't particularly excited about him, in any real way. I just thought like, okay, he's, normal guy or whatever, but I had no idea any of this stuff was going on.
No, I mean,
right? And
no one did.
Some people did.
No,
I mean, open secret.
No, I know. I mean, us, the public.
I know, but I think that's your point. It's like people knew something. There are people all around Washington, apparently, and maybe even in his in Dublin, where he was a representative of. People knew it in some way, and those are the people. Yeah. To me, yes, maybe you can't get, you don't have evidence and you don't want to be slandering or whatever, but you need to say something at least to other people around him. Be like, don't go to a bar with him. Don't be alone with him. Don't Snapchat with him. There are things that you can say to speak up.
Yeah. And I'm sure some of the people be like, yeah, we did. You know what? He should not have been in his office as long as he did. So there are so many levels where this broke down.
Yeah.
That's
the part that really pisses me off. Like I said at the beginning, so it was an open secret. Everybody knew, and nobody thought like, hey, maybe don't run for governor. Hey, maybe this is going to come out. Hey, maybe you should really think about elevating your profile, versus what's happening here.
Well, that's the dumbassery of who he is, right? That's like stupid, entitled motherfucker. And again, alleged, but I'm sorry. I don't care. I go back to the explanation. There is no reason for a man of any age, a man to be in a room with somebody they work with alone in a hotel room. Doctor's office, lawyer's, whatever. be a smart human being. And I am not saying all men, but I am saying get your ass together and talk to your other men and teach them.
Yeah. If you're a not all man, then this frankly is on you to handle.
That's right.
That's my take on it.
The same conversation with the whole, it's not all cops. Shut the fuck up. If cops are not going to police other cops, then I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? And if you're just transferring bad cops around, you're part of the problem.
Yep.
You know, so it's kind of the same thing. And here's the thing. I have never felt unsafe with the two doctors, or, you know what I mean? Like, because they're so professional. And that's kind of what I'm saying too. It's like, we have got to get to a place where you are smarter. Like, be a smart person. If you're a man and you're dealing in any situation where people feel that you're an authority figure. And by the way, this isn't just towards women. It's towards other men too, because men rape other men and sexually assault other men as well. And then they're the ones who are saying that they're into traditional values, but that's a whole other conversation. You know what I mean? Like, whatever that means. But this is my point, is be smarter about how you do things if you don't want to be accused of shit that you're saying you didn't do. Because I'm sorry, the biggest problem with Eric Swalwell right now, besides the fact that I believe the victims, especially after all that stuff I saw that I did not need to see, it's not going to get out my head, is you put yourself in a position that you should have never been in, because then this would not be a problem, because you would have never done any of those things. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, wow. What was the guy's name from Saturday Night Live? I still think that was a bad call.
Franken.
Yeah. What do you feel about that? I mean, I think, remember he had the picture where he had his hands on another comedian's boobs or something, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it warranted him being run out of Congress, but, you know, he did apologize for it. You know, I mean, I don't know, you know, it was maybe a little bit of an overreach, I guess, but
from the Democrats, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But it was definitely, it was like at the height of Me Too, and they just wanted to really like sort of, you know, not have any appearance of, you know, being okay with anything like that. And so I think, you know, yeah, stuff like that's going to happen. Maybe you're going to overreach, and maybe that's okay, because there's so much of the other shit where nobody's even bringing it to the forefront.
Right. And I think that one too is really weird, because it was like when he was younger, like it wasn't like last week. You know what I mean? It wasn't while he was in office. It was like he was younger. And I get it. And I keep thinking to myself, like, that's the other reason why I would never run for office. Because I keep thinking, like, what pictures do I have? You know, might be questionable. I don't know. Yeah. I don't have any pictures like that. I can just tell you right now. But, you know, they go and dig and stuff. And I'm sure he thought like nothing of that, because they were comedians or whatever it was. It wasn't, you know.
He probably didn't even really think it was a thing. Like he probably didn't even remember it. And then it came out and it was like, oh yeah, I did that. And, you know, apparently that was, you know, she didn't like it. So I need to apologize, you know.
Yeah.
But she did.
Anyways. I don't know. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to share? I don't know. I feel like we got a full.
Yeah, I think that covers it for I mean, there's all kinds of God knows what, but that's enough.
Going on. I know, right? That was a lot. I know I got very emotional, but yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out. I appreciate you. And remember, at the end of the day, it really is all about the joy, which I love that, because it is. You know, it would be joyful if we had men stop sexually assaulting women.
Yeah.
Or other men. You know what I mean? Like, can we
help
just
us live joyful lives, men, and come and get your boys.
Yes, thank you. At the end of the day, it really is all about the joy. There, feels better. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by All About the Joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.